You get home, you're exhausted, and before you know it, it's midnight. Another evening gone, and nothing built. No progress made, just another battle lost in silence. But what if I told you the most disciplined agents in history, the ninja, faced the same exhaustion and developed a system to fight back? A quiet, relentless strategy to make progress when everyone else gave in. They didn't wait for perfect energy. They didn't rely on motivation. They moved in silence, with precision, using every moment as a weapon, even the tired ones. In this video, I'll reveal 5 ancient ninja principles that will transform your most drained hours into your most productive ones. Not with hustle, with stealth, with discipline, with subtle force. By the end, you'll know how to build momentum at night even if your mind is foggy and your body's spent. You'll discover how to shift mental states like a shinobi, gather intel like a strategist, strike with minimal effort but lethal impact, protect your inner fire, and tap into the silent force of the void. But let me ask you this. Why do your best ideas come in the shower? Why do some nights, even after a brutal day, you suddenly create something incredible? Because your brain isn't broken, it's operating with the wrong pattern. This isn't about motivation, it's about method. A transformation crafted in silence and executed in shadows. So if your evenings vanish with nothing to show, stay with me, because the night isn't just rest, it's your battlefield. And tonight, we learn how to win it like a ninja. Let's begin with the first principle, switching modes like a ninja. Here's your first mistake. You're trying to build a new life with the same mind that just spent 9 hours surviving someone else's. That's like expecting a ninja to craft explosives right after sprinting from a battlefield. Wrong mode, wrong mission. The ninja understood one thing deeply. Each task demands a different mind. They called it hengen jizai, mental fluidity, shifting roles, shifting rhythm, a spy at noon, a swordsman at dusk, a shadow by night. They weren't just warriors, they were shapeshifters, masters of identity, capable of becoming exactly who the mission required. And here's your reality. When you get home, you're still running on employee software. That mindset obeys deadlines. It avoids conflict. It plays defense. It does what it's told. It survives. But building something of your own? That requires a new operating system. You need curiosity instead of compliance, vision instead of repetition, risk instead of routine. But most people never reboot. They try to force creation using the same tired script they ran all day. Here's where the ninja had the edge. They didn't just switch clothes, they switched minds, using deliberate rituals to exit one role and enter the next. Sharpening a blade, cleaning tools, sitting in silence, writing a mission scroll. It wasn't decoration, it was code, a signal to the brain. The mission has changed. For you, it could be 5 deep breaths, a power walk, reading one sentence from your journal, lighting incense. Doesn't matter what it is, only that it's intentional. Work U is dismissed. That version has served its purpose. Now, a builder walks in. But beware. Most people exit work mode only to enter consumption mode. They stop serving a company and start serving distraction. That's not a shift, that's surrender. Real mode switching is your first stealth weapon. Here's what you think is happening every evening. You scroll TikTok, skim articles, watch YouTube videos of successful people, and tell yourself, I'm learning. But you're not. You're lurking in someone else's mission, thinking that watching their wins will somehow fuel your own. That's not gathering. That's ghosting your future. The ninja knew the difference. In the Iga and Koga clans, young shinobi were trained in the art of Chikairi no Jutsu, the technique of quiet return. Intelligence was their currency. But it wasn't mindless. It was mission-specific. They didn't binge scroll. They didn't drown in inspiration. They collected what mattered, then retreated into silence to prepare. It was never about feeling good. It was about getting sharp. Now think about your evenings. You tell yourself watching a productivity video is growth. That scrolling Twitter threads about entrepreneurship is research. But when the screen goes black, nothing's changed. You've taken no action. And worse, Your brain has been chemically rewarded for observing instead of executing. That's not preparation, that's sedation. Here's the ninja shift. Stop consuming. Start collecting. Let others binge. You build an arsenal. If you see a video with a strategy, save it for later. If you find an article with insight, archive it in a folder. See a quote that sparks something? Clip it and label it. Then move on. Don't read the whole article. Don't finish the video. Don't analyze the quote. That's for when you're ready to strike. Because when the moment comes, when you're in build mode, you won't be searching. You'll already be armed. Create your own intelligence vault. 15 minutes a night. Not doom scrolling, not zoning out, just gathering tools for future deployment. And here's the real reward. You feel less overwhelmed. You're not hoarding information. You're organizing weapons. That's what the ninja did. They didn't prepare blindly. They prepared strategically. Consumers seek stimulation. Shinobi seek precision. So next time you're tempted to scroll yourself to sleep, ask, are you escaping the mission or preparing for it? You keep waiting for perfect conditions, 2 free hours, full energy, the right vibe, your desk perfectly clean. That's exactly why you've built nothing. You're stuck in a fantasy that doesn't survive real life. After work, you're drained. You don't need more time. You need a system that works with fatigue, not against it. You need a method that respects your limits without surrendering to them. The ninja didn't train in luxury. They practiced in caves, forests, swamps, imperfect conditions that forced adaptation. They had a concept: ichigeki, hisatsu, one strike, certain kill. They didn't rely on flurries of movement, just one precise action, done with complete focus. That's your model. When the body is tired, the mind must become sharp. When resources are low, actions must become deliberate. Your modern equivalent? 1 action a day. Tiny, but targeted. A single paragraph. 1 sales call. 5 lines of code. 1 push-up. It doesn't sound heroic, but neither did throwing caltrops under a pursuer's feet. 1 small action, done consistently, changes everything. You're not trying to conquer your entire to-do list. You're trying to maintain momentum. You think success is built in massive weekend sessions. It's not. It's built Tuesday night when you're tired but write 50 words anyway. It's Thursday when you open the project just to touch it. 1 movement. That's all. Because here's the shift. Consistency isn't about doing more. It's about doing something, always. Your ego wants dramatic effort. Your future only needs continuity. That's why most people burn out. They wait until they have time, then try to do too much, get overwhelmed, and quit. You don't need volume. You need proof of life. Momentum lives in movement, not scale. The ninja sharpened their blades daily, even if they never used them. Not because they needed to, but because they never knew when they might. That's you. Keep your edge ready. Touch your project every night. 1 action, 5 minutes, no pressure to finish, only pressure to show up. Show up tired, show up broken, but show up, because it's not the size of the strike. It's the discipline to keep striking, even in the dark. Some nights, everything falls apart. You're sick. You didn't sleep. Your boss dropped a last-minute crisis on your lap. There's noise, chaos, pressure. You come home and sit there, staring at nothing, too drained to move. That's when most people break their streak. They say, just tonight, but that one skipped night becomes 2, then 3. Before they realize it, the rhythm is broken. Momentum is gone. The project feels distant again. Guilt creeps in. The mission gets abandoned, not by force, but by fade out. But the ninja never aimed for perfection. They aimed for continuity. When storms hit or wounds slowed them down, they followed a principle called kaji wo tomosu. Keep the fire alive. Even if a fire couldn't be built, they would protect a single ember, hidden in bark or cloth, just enough heat to survive. Because reigniting is easy if you've preserved the spark. That's your mindset on bad days. You're not trying to make progress. You're trying to avoid regression. That ember? It's one sentence written, a 5-minute sketch, 10 seconds of voice notes, one bug fix. Just something, anything, that proves you haven't let go. That proves the mission still matters, even now. You've been told to go all in, all the time. But real consistency is built on a different truth. Low-bar survival is the bridge over burnout. If you always demand 100%, you'll eventually hit zero. And zero is the enemy. Zero breaks your identity. Zero breeds shame. So when everything falls apart, you downshift. You adapt. You protect the flame. Read one page. Adjust one pixel. Breathe near your goal, even if you don't touch it. The goal isn't productivity, it's identity preservation. Because when you maintain the thread, the comeback is easy. When you break it completely, the restart is painful. Momentum isn't always speed. Sometimes it's just movement, any movement. 1 minute is infinitely more than none. A whisper of effort keeps the engine alive. So stop chasing perfection, start defending the flame. Because 1 is life, 0 is death. And a true ninja never lets the fire die, even in darkness. You've switched modes, you've collected tools, you've struck daily and protected your momentum. But something still feels stuck. You're doing all the right things, yet the breakthroughs don't arrive. The progress feels mechanical. Your ideas fall flat. You're moving, but not evolving. And deep down, you wonder, why does it still feel like you're running in place? Here's why. You've eliminated the one thing that ninjas never did, the space between the strikes. You live in constant noise. Podcasts while you drive, music while you cook, YouTube while you eat, audiobooks while you walk. You fill every second with sound, with content, with input. You never allow stillness. You fear it. You think if you're not consuming or producing, you're wasting time. But the ninja had a word for what you're missing. Yami, the darkness between actions. Not just literal night, but mental shadow. Silence, emptiness, absence. The shinobi didn't just master movement, they mastered stillness. They could wait for hours without twitching, watching, sensing, absorbing. Not out of laziness, out of strategy. That's when ideas clicked. That's when awareness sharpened. You already know this. Your best thoughts happen in the shower, during a quiet walk, staring out the window. Because that's when your mind finally has room to connect the pieces it's been gathering all day. Think of your brain like a battlefield full of fallen clues. You pick them up all day, insights, strategies, ideas, but you never give your mind a moment to put them together. You just keep marching, keep scrolling, keep stuffing more in. The solution? Create a shadow space each night, just 5 minutes. Absolute quiet. No music, no screens, no input. Sit in a chair, lie on the floor, walk in silence, no goals, no guidance, just space. Let the mind breathe. It's not meditation, it's not rest. It's the void that turns action into wisdom. Because after you collect, act, and endure, your mind needs time to integrate, to translate doing into meaning, to turn fragments into form. The ninja didn't just move in shadows, they thought in them. So every evening, end your practice with emptiness. Let your subconscious do what it does best. Because growth doesn't only happen in action, it happens in the silence that follows. You've now seen it. The full ninja system. Not built for hype, built for survival, for stealth progress, for the tired, the overworked, the dreamers who don't have time, but still choose to build. You learned how to switch modes with purpose, leaving behind your work self and stepping into the builder identity. You learned how to gather like a shinobi, collecting weapons instead of consuming noise. You practiced how to strike once, but daily, choosing consistency over intensity. You discovered how to protect the flame, keeping your momentum alive through chaos. And finally, you entered the shadow space, where silence isn't a void, but your greatest source of clarity. This isn't a temporary tactic, it's a philosophy, a stealth operating system for building when no one sees, not for applause, not for motivation, but because your mission demands it. And here's what most people will never understand. Your evenings aren't throwaway time. They're prime hours in disguise. The moments after work aren't just for recovery. They're for legacy, for crafting the life that doesn't fit inside your 9 to 5. This is where quiet legends are made. You don't need 8 hours of energy. You need 10 minutes of focus. You don't need endless motivation. You need rituals that work even when you're drained. You don't need noise. You need space to breathe. This system doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't rush. It moves with precision, with stealth, with meaning. And over time, these small silent actions build something unstoppable. So don't wait until you're ready. Begin while you're tired. Build when it's hard. Show up when it's quiet. Because the future belongs to those who work in silence, strike in shadows, and never stop moving forward. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more stealth strategies, and share this with someone who needs a silent weapon for their future.